So the theme song is still the same, and I'm still very annoyed. And while it was happening, I was just sitting there like, and I don't know how it goes. Maybe the process that they do when they have shows that are going to air, it prevented them from being able to go in and actually change the theme song for this episode going forward. But hopefully next episode it will be changed because I'm tired. 50 Cent said that they were going to change it. At first he tried to get a little mad and was like, why y'all acting like it's going to be a spinoff? Y'all remember it's going to be a spinoff? And I'm just looking like, what the spinoff got to do with the original though? I don't understand. That ain't got nothing to do with us saying that the original fit this show. And you shouldn't have changed what wasn't broken. Don't do it no more. Thank you very much. Anyway, moving right along. So the beginning of this episode starts off with Tommy's car getting towed away, and Ghost is around a corner looking at it as it happens. So for some reason, he was like, let me roll up in this building. So he rolled up in the building, and Jason, the guy who is, over all the Serbians, he's in there. And so he was like, look, I don't care what you and Tommy got going on, whatever. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all ain't finna be affecting my business with y'all's ignorant beef. Y'all need to do what y'all gotta do. So he was like, look, what's gonna happen is you're gonna give me $100,000 every 2 weeks, and then I will leave you alone. If you don't, then I got to take you out. So whatever's gonna be, you're gonna have to figure it out. So anyway, Tariq is at school, and his roommate is doing the most. And he was like, oh my gosh, I know somebody that wants to meet you. And he was like, nah, I'm not trying to be the face of this. This is just something I'm doing. I'm not the face of this. You go out and sell it for $30 a pop and bring me back the rest. And that's how it's going to be. So he was like, oh, okay. So anyway, Ghost ended up rolling up on Proctor like, yeah, so I need an alibi for last night because I killed Tommy. And he was like, what? Are you sure he's dead? Tommy is under the impression, excuse me, y'all, not Tommy. Ghost is under the impression that Tommy really is dead, and he's not. We know that, but he don't know that. So he was like, well, even if I wanted to, I can't, because the person who took over Tamika's job popped up on me while I was at my daughter's recital, so that's where I was. So I couldn't possibly give you an alibi for that night. So he was like, look, are you going to the funeral? He was like, of course I'm going to the funeral. So he was like, man, if you're going to go to the funeral, like if you really going to go, then you need to take Tasha with you and basically present yourself as this family man, because you can't just pop up by yourself, because y'all know that's what he was going to do. That's how dumb Ghost is. But anyway, Tommy went and told his little corner boys, as I want to call them, that, somebody tried to take him out last night. I ain't going to say who, but they tried to take me out, and we're going to make people think that that's what the situation is. He ain't got no car. And he told one of them they're going to have to take him to the city. And I just can't. Like, them people live for him. It kills me. So anyway, the task force members were meeting up. Two of the task force members. That black guy, I don't know why I can never remember his name. I like to call him the last black man standing. And the woman, Blanca Rodriguez. So they were going to meet Tasha at her hotel. She's staying in a hotel right now. And so they roll up, and before they even went to the door, old boy was like, look, don't bring up nothing about this situation that's going on right now with Angela. We're only here to talk about Terry Silver. So they go in, they start questioning. Well, they didn't even get to go in. She just had them at the door. Couldn't go inside. So they were like, well, when was the last time you saw him? And she said, like, the day before he was supposed to be in trial or whatever it was. Whatever day she's been sticking to. And so then the woman gonna sit up there and was like, Angela Valdez is dead. Do you know who killed her? She was like, oh my gosh, that's a tragedy. That's so sad. That's terrible when that happens to anybody. And then coincidentally, the child whose name I can never remember, because they spent 99% of the time saying Tariq's name, and then the other 1% of the time saying Raina's. So I have no idea what the other child's name is. She started crying out of nowhere, which I'm confused about, because she old enough to not be crying. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, she was saved by the cry. And she was like, yeah, I gotta go and tend to my child. Bye. So old boy was like, We talked about this. Why are you going in here guns blazing? I told you we can't talk about this with her. So she just, y'all know how she is. She trying to hurry up and get stuff done. And ain't nobody got time. Let's hurry up and get this done so I can go on back by my business. So anyway, Paz is at Angela's job, clearing out her desk in her office, trying to get her personal belongings. And then Stacks rolls up. And so, they start talking. And so she's like, have her benefits been cleared yet? Apparently they put a hold on her benefits. And so she was like, what you mean? How am I gonna pay for the funeral? Because she already, y'all know last time she went off on Jamie and was like, I don't need your help. Because he offered, of course, to pay for the funeral. She was like, I don't need your help. So she was like, what am I gonna do? So she can't afford to pay for the funeral, y'all. So anyway, Tasha said last time, as we know, that she wants a divorce from James. And they are there in court going back and forth. It done got so heated in there that she done told the judge not to call her Mrs. St. Patrick and that she's going back to her maiden name, which is Green. So they can't come to no agreement. And she's so dumb. She done sat up here and completely forgot that she signed a prenup that clearly stated that if she initiated a divorce, she would get nothing. But she went up in there talking about, I want half of everything right now. I want half of it. I want it all right now. I want half of it. And so, like, apparently she said something about him having secret accounts and all that. And it was like, it kind of was a waste of her breath because she ain't getting half of that either. So you need to calm down, calm down, calm down. Anyway, after it was over with, they were out in the hall or whatever, and so she done went off about her not being able to get no money. She was like, I got kids, we have kids to take care of. And so he was like, I'm gonna give you the money. I've been giving you money to take care of the kids. So she was like, that's not gonna be enough. So it ain't gonna work out as far as that's concerned. So of course he had the nerve, the audacity, and the gall to ask her to accompany him to the side woman's funeral. So Tasha went off and was like, no, I ain't going with you to that funeral. Went off, and it got to the point where he had to be like, please, I need you to go with me, and all this other stuff. Then eventually she said, yeah, I'll go with you, whatever. And then she was like, look, I need you to do something for me. Don't go after Tommy. So at this point, she doesn't know that Tommy has been killed. And he's like, oh, she don't know he dead. So I'm going to go along with that. Yeah, I'm promise I ain't going to do nothing to him, whatever. Y'all, Stacks is trifling, right? So he's trying to work with Proctor's ex-wife. And his scheme, his stunt that he's trying to pull is, I want you to put this unicorn or whatever it was, little trinket, keychain or whatever it was on your child's book bag. So she was like, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna happen because I have no kind of custody. I don't get to see my child, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. So he was like, well, maybe I can help you with that. And so she was like, well, I'm trying to get my child back. I'm trying to get back into her life. I'm trying to get a job. It's hard for me because of all the stuff that's been going on in my record. And so she was like, yeah, recommendation sure would be nice. That really would help. So he's going to write a recommendation so that she can get this amazing job. Because y'all know she was supposed to be a lawyer too. Then she got hooked on cocaine and all that. So anyway, Tommy is talking to Keisha. And Tasha showed up at the house. And so y'all know that they ain't talking. Keisha is tired because she has finally grasped the understanding that she is being used. So she was like, what are you doing here? I already told you not to come back here no more. She was like, look, I understand all that. I'm sorry. I just need to know, have you talked to Tommy? Have you seen him? Whatever. So she ended up cracking the door open a little bit more so that she could see him. And so Tommy was like, hey, Tasha. And so she was like, okay, so anyway, you can go on about your business. I said what I said. I don't want you around here no more. I told you not to come back here no more. So then she slammed it on her face and went back in there and started talking to Tommy and was like, I don't have nothing to do with her no more, so you don't need to have nothing to do with her no more. I'm tired. And so he was just like, there are some things that I only can talk to Tasha about. So, of course that made her mad. So I'm just like, Lord. Anyway, Ghost went to Tariq's school and was sitting in his room. So Tariq came back from class or wherever he was at, and he asked him what was he doing there. He was like, well, come in, I need to talk to you. You need to sit down. So he told him that he killed Tommy, and because he's the one that he found out was the one who killed Angela. And so, whatever. Anyway, when he left, he was like, I just wanted to be the one to tell you. So he left, and then he immediately called Tommy. And of course, Tommy answered the phone like he said he would, being a good uncle. He answered the phone, and he was like, yeah, so my dad just left here. He said that he killed you and all that. He was like, what happened to your car? And so he was like, where's your car? He was like, yeah, it has all kinds of bullets in it because your daddy sprayed bullets in it trying to kill me. So he was like, okay. So he was like, well, did you tell your dad that I'm alive? And he was like, no. And so he was like, okay. So he's, Tommy's kind of trying to play it by ear and just seeing where Tariq is leading him instead of being like Ghost and being like, well, you do this and you do that and bossing everybody around. So it got to a point where Tariq was like, well, I'm just giving you the drop on him. If you're going to do something, you let me know first. And so he was like, okay. Like, what in the world? So Governor Tate is back in the picture, and off rip, he was just like, look, did you kill Angela Valdez? He just needed to know. He was like, no, man, that was the love of my life. So whatever. Anyway, Tommy and Tasha met up, and so he was letting her know that, Keisha is not here for her and all this other stuff. And so she was like, well, she's easy to please. All you got to do is basically buy her everything in the world. And at some point, some information was spilled that he had no business getting from her. And so, they started talking. And so she was like, look, I'm at the point now where I don't know whether or not I want Ghost to be dead or alive. We had this arbitration the other day, and that didn't go good. So he looking like, what's an arbitration? So anyway, she was like, well, if I get divorced and he's alive, it's not going to be too good for me because I'm going to need money. But if he dies, me and the kids are the beneficiaries, so, it'll be fine. But, she's still conflicted. So he was like, if you ever need money, you can ask me. And so she was like, Keisha ain't gonna be here for that. And that's true. And no other woman trying to be here for you. You over here doing all this for some other woman. Girl, boy, if you don't get somewhere and sit down. So anyway, it just got to the point where Tommy was like, well, I don't know if Keisha gonna be cut out for this life. I don't know either, because she was very fidgety and acted real crazy when she thought that the police were at the door, but it was Tasha. So anyway, Paz is now at Angie's apartment going through her stuff. And so she runs across this burner phone and she texts the number. She called the number first. Nobody answered. And then she texted it because she automatically thought that it was Jamie's. So she was like, you going to pay for this or whatever. And we need to meet. And so they said where. And so they ended up meeting. They were going to meet up later on. They never showed us where they were going to meet up at. But the person did respond and say where. So anyway, Proctor is in court, going back and forth with his ex-wife, and then he is thrown all the way off by the fact that she's doing well and she has a new job now because of the recommendation that Sachs put in for her. And it just got to a point where the judge was like, well, I don't know what's going on with y'all, but I'm gonna have to ask the child where she wants to live. And so everybody went out there to where the child was at to see where she wanted to live. And the judge, I'm glad that judge did how she did it, because I hate how some people are, no matter what type of judge they are. She went out there and she asked her on the level of a child, in a way that a child would understand and not all aggressive, whose house would she like to live in. And it just got to a point where it just became overwhelming for her and she started to cry. So Proctor went over to her, embraced her, and was like, see, this gotta stop. This is too much. And then, because at first he was like, everything's good where we are. Don't you want to be with me? And then, her mama was like, well, we used to get our nails done. And then she was just like looking like, oh my gosh. And then she bust out crying. And so Proctor eventually was just like, we'll just have shared custody because Lord have mercy, is too much. So anyway, Paz ended up meeting up with Tasha because that's who she'd been texting. So she was like, what are you doing here? She was like, what are you doing here? You texted me. So she was just like, well, why were y'all texting? Y'all were like sworn enemies. Y'all weren't on the same team. She was like, well, I didn't really care for her like that at first, but after everything started going down, she started helping us, and, I'm not against her. she was for us. She was helping us. So we were all working together. So Paz is looking like, what? So she was like, look, I'm going to take this to the police. So she was like, well, you could do that because, if you did, that would, incriminate your sister and the legacy that she would leave behind. So you could do that if you want to try to take us down, but you would be taking your sister down in the process. So she thought about that and was like, well, okay, no, I ain't going to do nothing. So she was like, all right. She was like, all of your sister's secrets are safe with me. I'm not telling nobody nothing that went down. She did too much for me. I ain't got nothing against her. I ain't got nothing to say. It is what it is. So she was like, okay. So Tasha went off about her business. And that woman, Blanca Rodriguez, rolled up on her and was like, hey, what's going on with you? So we looked into your story and we see that you were at Terry Silver's apartment in his garage or something, because we pinged your phone off of these towers and all this other stuff. So, what's really going on? And so she was like, look, we were screwing, she was like, well, why you didn't say that in the first place? She was like, because I'm a married woman and I was screwing somebody else. Maybe I ain't want all my information out there like that, but I ain't killed nobody. I didn't do nothing. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him, whatever. So anyway, so the governor is in the middle of making a speech, right? And Jamie's up there with him. And this man from like Jamaica, Queens or somewhere came in and said it all the way off randomly. I don't even know how he got in there. So he was like, this ain't nothing but some BS. I've been out of a job 10, 11 months. I ain't had no job. Y'all ain't doing nothing. This is the same song and dance y'all always talking about. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna bring no jobs. You ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna do that. And so, Governor Tate is like, no, it's okay, whatever. He trying to smooth it over. He ain't trying to hear nothing he's saying. That man to set it off. He was like, don't let me get started on that pretty boy sitting up there next to you. And of course, everybody knows who he was from the past, Ghost. So he done read Ghost. So then Ghost, being the trash person that he is, being the trash man that he is, he done sat up there and took this opportunity to step forward and say, I understand your concerns. We all have a past. I have changed. I'm nothing like how I used to be. Just last night for like 18 hours straight, I was helping him come up with his speech. And he looking like, bruh, I just told you I don't want no part of this. But of course he couldn't say that out loud, but that's how he looking at it like, bruh, you tried me. So he just sat up here and still got his alibi. He is so trash. Anyway, Tommy sees Ghost coming out of the building where that little meeting or whatever it was held. And he has a really great clear shot. And right when he was about to roll up and make his move, a van comes up. People put a bag over his head and then they take Tommy. So it ends up being the Serbians who take him because they've been following him. And so he's looking like Jason. I had a clear shot of Ghost. Why are you doing this? So he was like, look, you ain't finna mess up my money. I got a situation going on with him. I don't care about y'all beef. Y'all need to stop all this foolishness. And you need to give me money for protection. And I'm just like, Lord, you're trying to get money hand over fist and some more. So anyway, Tasha rolled up on Ghost. And so, just rolled up in the house. So he looking like, how you get in here? I took your name off the list. So y'all know she has a way of doing whatever she want to do. So she was, trying to talk to him. And she was like, I know you killed Terry. You ain't even got to tell, I know. And so she trying to spout off what she think is going on or what happened to him. And so Ghost proceeds to read her and says something like, Terry wasn't your future just as much as Sean wasn't, or something like that. Ran her down. I was like, sir, really? We're just gonna read? Oh, okay. Like, went all the way off. So she was like, look, you're gonna have to pay me for my silence because this ain't right. And so he was like, I ain't got no money for you. I gotta pay these Serbians. I ain't got no money to spare. So she was like, well, you gonna pay me or you gonna get back in that jumpsuit. Get back in that orange jumpsuit then. You going back to prison. So, he hesitated for a minute. He was like, all right, Tasha, I'll give you the money. So then he done went all the way off when she was walking out. He was like, don't come back up in here no more because you don't live here no more. And I was like, Lord have mercy. So anyway, Tariq is at school. And his roommate came back to him and was like, man, I know you said you don't want anybody to meet you, but it's this girl who want to meet you. And he was just like, man, no, I ain't meeting up with nobody. I done told you this. So he was like, I know what you said, but this girl said that if you don't meet up with her, that she gonna drop a dime on you. That's what she might as well should have said. But anyway, she said she gonna turn you in. And so he was like, dang, all right, man, whatever. So Tommy met up with Keisha bearing gifts, and he gets her this Chanel bag that she's always wanted. It's this one particular one that she's wanted as of recent. And she's like, yeah, this ain't right. How did you know that this was the bag that I wanted? And so she was like, no, this ain't right. He was trying to make it seem like he had a lucky guess and he just, knew how to pick the right thing. And she was like, nope, there's only one person who knew the exact bag that I wanted. And that, of course, is Tasha. So she was like, what are you doing talking to her? She went on. And, he's trying to talk to her and was like, look, I can't do this. I mean, there's just certain things I have to talk about with her. Whatever. So it got to the point where she was like, I don't care about this. I only want you. I don't care about bags. And so they made up, whatever. Anyway, Tariq met up with the girl. It's this black girl. She goes by the name of Effie. I don't know if that's her real name or not, but that's what they told us what her name was this episode. So met up with Effie, and Effie was like, look, ain't but like 5 of us, meaning black people on campus, and you about to mess it up for all of us with this drug stuff. And so he was like, look, man, I'm just trying to make some extra money. And so he noticed what she had on. He was like, you work in a bookstore or something? And I think she might be like one of the underprivileged ones. And so he was like, I can help you out. You can come work for me. I will pay you way more than whatever you're getting over there. So, she's hesitant. But, it seemed like it might be a good hustle. He was like, it's a good hustle. You can, work for me. Trust me. So, right now she's thinking about it. So anyway, Governor Tate tracked down the man who came in and said what he said from Jamaica, Queens. And it just got to the point where he was just like, look, I understand your situation. He ended up looking up his background. Apparently he had been to prison or something. And so that's stopping him from getting a job, right? So he was like, okay, James St. Patrick from back in the day when he used to do what he used to do. I need you to go around the neighborhood and dig up information on him and bring it back to me. And he was like, okay, how much does this pay? Does this pay American dollars? So he done made this deal with this dude. And so the guy, I guess this guy, after he left, I guess this guy's supposed to be his assistant or something. And he was like, trying to tell him, like, what are you doing? You can't do this. So he was like, I should fire you. He was like, you can't fire me. I know too much. I got too much information on you. I know too much. So he was like, yeah, you're right. So he ended up beating him up a little bit. And then he went on by his business. So anyway, Ghost is getting ready for the funeral. Paz is at the venue, at the actual church. And she's looking at the casket. And she's talking. And so the pastor or whoever he was, he came out and was greeting her. And, she's worried because she does not know how she's going to pay for this. So he was like, you don't know? It's already been paid for. So she automatically thought it was Jamie. And he told her that it wasn't anybody by that name who paid for it. So she called Stacks to see what's going on with him, to see if the benefits had been released, and they haven't. So she hung up on him. So then she ended up realizing that it had to be Tasha. So she texted Tasha and told her thank you. So she had a moment with Angie, and she was like, your secrets are going to be buried with you. So she put the burner phone in the lining of the casket to be buried along with her. So unless somebody's smart enough to go on ahead and look through that before she get buried, then I don't know. So Dre still doesn't know what's going on with Angie, and he's at a safe place, a safe house or whatever, one of the safe houses with his daughter. And so I don't know how, because he has TV. He doesn't know what's going on as of yet. So they sent the black man. I don't know why I don't know that man's name no more. But anyway, they sent the last black man standing to go and retrieve him and move him to a new place. And hopefully he hasn't seen anything and he won't back out of testifying, because right now he is the star witness. So, This was the first time I've ever in my life seen a funeral go on and they have the pallbearers carry the casket on their shoulders. I thought that was pretty like, wow. So they did that, and they did the whole little thing that they do. So then they placed the casket down in front of Pa's where she was going to be buried, and they had the pastor to commit her body to the ground. And so then the time comes for people to come up and, you know, kind of say their goodbyes and, you know, greet the family, so to speak. And Tommy comes up out the bushes, and Ghost sees him, and he's shook, and you could tell he's shook. And it's just like, what in the world going on right here? So he ended up rolling up on pause and was like, you know, my name is Tommy Egan. I don't know if you remember me. And she did remember him. And he was like, if you ever need anything, you can reach out to me. No matter what it is, whatever you need, I'll be here. So he made a point to make sure that Ghost saw him, and he saw him seeing him. And then he turned his back and went on down the road. So then Ghost proceeds to ask Tasha, does she know that Tommy is alive? Did she already know? And she said, yep. I was like, ma'am. So anyway, the girl ended up basically saying yes to Tariq, and Proctor's ex placed that bug on the book bag. Tommy got Keisha some earrings, and it's looking like a whole nother Holly situation might be getting set up, but I don't know. Tasha got a new apartment. Ghost rolled up on Jason and was like, look here, I got to kill Tommy. And he was like, well, I mean, all you need to know is if you kill him, you're going to be the new distro. He was like, nah, man, I ain't in the game. No, I can't do that. He was like, well, if not you and Tommy, then who? So then they pan over to Dre. The black man going to get over to Dre house 2 seconds after he sees that Angela's funeral is that day. And so he's panicking. He done stopped doing push-ups and everything. Like, what? So he was like, what going on when this happened, all this other stuff. And he was like, look, man, we need you to testify tomorrow. We got to move you now. So he looking crazy. The most going on. It's just too much. But anyway, I hope y'all have a good one. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I got something else that I hope to be able to put up today because I want to put it up since it's Sunday. And there's some things that have gone down. So if you've seen my video about my church in the past and what the pastor did, you're going to really want to know what the continuation is to what has been going on as of late. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.